This is a Kershaw Camp, and I'm just doing some limbing here. In the later parts of the fall, and especially winter, most people who do woodwork know that the wood starts to get a lot harder on your cutting tools. And that's because of not only the effect that the cold itself has on your cutting tools. When it drops down to below zero, steel starts to get less tough, but the wood itself is also much harder in the winter than it is in the summer. So I'm doing some limbing with a Kershaw Camp and another knife, which I'll show later on. And there's a rather interesting difference in behavior, and I talk a little bit about how to sort of detect that and how to fix it in a couple of very simple ways. So what I do to check this is, after visually just looking at it and seeing if the edge ripples, I color in the edge with a marker, then take a sharpening stone and just work the edge a little bit. And if the edge is rippled, well, then the sharpening stone will skip over it. If the edge isn't bent and is still straight, you'll basically get a really nice clean line of steel being removed. So that's what I'm looking for. And I'm not really sharpening this now. I'm not trying to get it sharp. I'm just trying to grind a little bit of metal off the edge and see what it comes out like, just to make sure I haven't turned it. I don't suspect I have, because there's an awful lot of steel on this knife, and it's a decent enough steel for this type of work, but I just want to check it. And it looks perfectly fine. I get a very clean line of abrasion right along all the edge. A little bit of damage up by the tip where I plastered it into rocks, but again, really clean line of steel, all nicely reflecting. So, no issues. Now, this is the other knife. Relatively different, but watch what happens. Now, only part of the edge is getting abraded. The stone is actually skipping over the rest of it, and that part of the edge is actually pushed out towards me. And you can actually see it here. It's pushed out so much that it's the only part of the edge actually touching the stone. Now, if I flip it over on the other side, then what happens is that part of the edge now won't get hit because it's pushed out to the other side, and all the rest of the parts of the edge do actually get hit. And you can see that's exactly what happens. So you can see the edge is abraded, not abraded, and that's exactly the same spot where it's pushed out. So it's not abraded where it's pushed toward the other side, and then it gets abraded on the other side where that part is pushed out. So that's a really easy way to check to see where your edge is deformed, and you can often spot small things by eye. Now, that's not impossible to fix. All I did was I took a hammer and an anvil and did a bit of cold working, straightened the edge out. And again, this is not sharpening, this is just me grinding some metal off. And now you can see nice clean line of reflection right along the edge, so the edge is now straightened back up again. Just check the other side. Same way. And what I want to see now is a nice, clean, continuous line of reflection along the edge. And that's what I see. So the edge is more or less straightened out now.